Hi everyone, for our vlog today, we'll be talking about this Le Cat Ombre from Chanel, and this is actually in the color 226 Tisse Rivoli. So as you guys can see with the color story here, it's actually a very wearable color story. A lot of people can wear this despite our differences in skin tone and eye color. Now what really attracted me to this palette is actually the red tones that we can see in the color story here. There's just a difference in hue, and the main reason why is because I have olive undertones in my skin, and of course green and reds are actually complementary colors. So this will really work for me, in theory. So I can't actually wait to try this out. So I have actually been wanting to try out this color for a very long time, and this color palette is largely not available here in the Philippines in the Chanel counter here, and I can attest that to the merchandising. Maybe this shade is not one of the most sellable shades here. So I was actually very glad to see this in one of the duty-free shops when I was at Haneda International Airport in Tokyo when I was on my way back here to the Philippines. So when I saw that at this time the duty-free shops were open at Haneda, I quickly scoured through them because I knew I could find some of my most sought after makeup products, and this was actually one of them. Okay, and also one other thing, by the way, I have been very interested in getting to know a lot of the permanent eyeshadow collections from Chanel, because sometimes when they release a lot of this limited edition eyeshadow palette, it's actually amazing, it's beautiful, and some colors are actually recycled from previous releases. But one thing that I don't like about limited edition releases is that if I like a specific palette from that, it actually breaks my heart that I won't be able to repurchase them again. And I know you guys can just say why don't you buy a backup? That would be easy, but stocks here again, as I've said earlier in the video, is that they only have 5 at a time. So it's actually quite sad. Anyway, so what we'll be doing today is we'll be doing some swatches to see how well these colors actually apply on the skin, and of course there'll be a demo on me using this. So one other thing also that I'm going to be doing, by the way, is I'm going to be putting timestamps on the description box, so you can just jump to the specific part of the video that you actually just want to see. Okay, so right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip my camera over and let us start swatching this eyeshadow palette. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to swatch the first top 2 colors here, and I'm just going to press it lightly. And I do have to say it feels very, very creamy. And I'm just going to swatch it here and here. Very nice, beautiful colors. Let me just put this here. So very nice, beautiful colors. It has this very nice, gold glitter on it. And the color of this, it looks to be a little bit bronzy. And I can't seem to see the red tone in it. I think it's there, but it's more muted. It's very subdued. So it leans more towards the brown shade of the color spectrum. Very nice though. I think this gold glitters will come in handy when blending out colors, or if you just want to add drama into the eyes. Okay, so this is this shade here. Very nice color. It has a very nice peach tone to it, and it has a very nice shimmer as well, perfect for highlighting. Okay, next let's watch the bottom 2 colors here, and I'm going to press it here and on this finger, put that there, and I'm going to swatch this here. Okay, that has a very nice taupey color, but it actually has a very nice reddish undertone to it, quite warm, but it looks taupey to me, so I'm afraid I might be calling this taupey color when I'm going to be using it on my eyes, but let's see. And this shade here is a very nice, lovely violet color. Very nice shade, and it looks to be matte, so at least we can use this to add drama into to the eyes, definition. Nice color, nice addition, especially that these 3 colors here, these ones are quite shimmery and glittery, so we need that one matte color to add definition into the eyes. Very nice swatching. So at least now I know how this might register on my eyes, but then again, it really depends, because sometimes finger swatch is very different from a brush application on the eyelids. Okay, now just a very quick comparison to the other Le Cat Ombre in my collection. So this is the Tissé Cambon, if I am correct. Let me double check. Yeah, so this is Tisse Cambon. I talked about this in a video before, so I'm gonna put a link down on the description box that you can guys go and check that out. So you guys can see that the colors are very different, but they still have that very nice red tone in it, and that's why I was very attracted to this as well. So very nice. I love this pinky shade, super. And then the other Lecat Ombre that I have in my collection is this Clair Obscure, and this one has more matte brown colors, very cool toned. Even this one, even if it looks warm on the pan, it's a little bit cool. So I have not talked about this quad yet, but I did use this on a video wherein I showed how I created eyeshadow looks for deep set or eyes with heavy eyelids. So again, I'm going to put the link on the description box so that you guys can see this quad in action. So so this is it. So these are the three palettes that I have currently from Chanel, which belongs to the permanent collection, because the other palettes that I have with me right now are limited edition, so it's not best to talk about it because it's largely unavailable. Okay, all right, so let's continue. Okay, so let me just move a little bit closer to the camera so that you can see everything as close as possible. And let us begin by applying a little bit of this smudge-proof eyeshadow base from NARS. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because, as we have seen in the swatch, we have some shimmery colors here, and sometimes with shimmery eyeshadows, they tend to drop down, especially when you buff them out a lot on the eye. So this will just give this eyeshadow palette some integrity and something to stick on. Okay, so I don't really have any eyeshadow look planned, but let's just go with the flow. And for sure, we will start light and then we will increase intensity as we go along. Okay, so let's start. So what I want to do is I want to start light first. I want to start using any of these lighter shades first. But this is specifically used as a highlight color. So I'm going to use this very nice peachy shade here, and this will be our lay down color, and this is how it's gets picked up on this eyeshadow brush. And I'm just gonna lay this all over my eyelid. Okay, so now that I've applied this on my eyelid, I can see that there's a hint of brown in this eyeshadow color, and there's also some peachiness. So when I move my eyelid, so there's a shift that happens, but it's not really that obvious. So here at the highest points of my eyeballs, I can see how brown it is, and then here at the outer edges of my eye, I can see the peachy color come out. So that's what I meant by there's a shift in color with this eyeshadow. But for sure, I'm sure you can see the golden shimmer that this eye color has. Okay, so let me just blend out the edges and let me just smoke it out a bit. Okay, let me just blend out the color nicely here. Okay, good. I like doing that with flat brush, because these types of brushes which has flat and rounded kind of a shape, the way they apply eyeshadow color, it's very directional in manner. So if you're very intent with your eyeshadow application color, that's actually the right way to do it. Well, not the right way, but that's the way that I do it. Okay, that's a very nice color down, and let's build it up. So what I want to do is I want to use this very nice shade. So let me pick it up with this brush and let me just apply it here into my socket line and my crease area. And as you guys can see, it's already giving my eyes a very nice soft definition of color. Okay, so I'm just blending that well into my brow bone. I'm going to the side here again. I'm very intent on how I lay down color. I'm just gonna blend that out. Okay, that created a very nice shape on my eyelids. Fantastic. Okay, let me just add a hint more of this here. I always like to add a little bit of color here, because that just really helps to bring my shape out. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so now with the same shade, I'm just gonna pick up a little bit of this with a very flat, like, eyeliner brush of sorts. And I'm gonna apply that here on my, lash line, because I think this will just, add a very nice hint of definition. And I think I just want to add more. So let me, add a hint of the mist from Lisa Eldridge on the tip of this brush. And because this is actually a baked gelée formula, you can actually use this wet or dry if you want to, increase intensity on the eyes. Okay, and there you go. We have this very nice light, soft definition on our upper lash line. Fantastic. So I actually want to blend it out just a little bit. So I actually want to pick up this, color that I used to lay down on this eye. And I'm going to apply that right on top of that eyeshadow that we used as an eyeliner. And this will just, soften it some more. And it'll just, blend out quite nicely. And I actually want to enhance my outer V portion a little bit. So I'm going to be picking up the same shade again. And I'm just going to add a little bit of the color here. And just try to connect that into my, socket line. So that we have this very nice delicate wash of color here and soft hint of definition as well. So as I'm continuing to blend out everything and to create a shape for my eye, I have realized that the color that I'm using, this shade here, doesn't really have a lot of red undertones in it, but it kind of falls into the gray scale of the color spectrum. And as a personal thing, I actually don't like using gray toned eyeshadows because they actually don't work for me. Well, they don't really add any oomph into my eye look. They just create a wash of shadow, and I prefer using colors that just add a hint of drama into the eye. So like this one, it just creates a very nice shadowy look. But I'm just glad though that it actually helped me to create a shape for my eyes. So of all the colors that I have been using up to this point, this is not my favorite. But anyway, let's just continue to roll with the punches and let me just blend everything out. Okay, and right now I want to use this shade here. This is a very nice highlight color. And let me add that here on the highest points of my brows. And let me add that here into the inner corners and blend that well into my mobile lid, just so that we have some light in that portion of my eye, just to help to open up everything. Okay, and just like that, we have a very neutral eye going on. So let me just add some mascara. Maybe that can just help bring life into this eye. Okay, and it actually did. It's actually quite nice and perfect. Oops, I have some mascara in my eyelid, so let me just remove that. Okay, so before we move on, I actually want to add more intensity on my upper lash lines. I'm going to be picking up the same shade here. And let me just press that into my upper lash line. So it's just actually blending well into the eyeshadow color that I laid down earlier. And it's not adding a ton of intensity that I was expecting it to. But we have this very nice soft wash of color actually on my upper lash line right now. And maybe let me just add a little bit of that here on my lower lash line just to help open up everything. Okay, not bad at all. I like it. My eyes is now open and lifted, and I can attest that to the mascara. Okay, and it's time to be dramatic, and let's use the darkest shade on this palette here. And it is actually this color here, and let's hope that this will actually apply a very nice hint of color that will work for me today. Okay, so as you guys can see, the violet tones are already coming out of this eyeshadow color, and I'm just adding intensity and building intensity because I want this to be a very nice smoky eye look. So as you guys can see, the red tones are already coming out and it's working very well with my skin tone. Now I'm flipping the brush again, and then I'm going to be using the colors left on the brush head and add intensity into my socket line, and I'm going to buff everything out. Okay, so I actually want to add drama on the outer V portion, and I'm going to be picking up still the same shade here with this Chikuhodo FO brush, and I'm going to add that color here into the outer V portion, and I'm also going to drag that well into my crease and my socket line, and the color has now intensified and I actually love it. Okay, and right now I'm just going to buff out the edges and blend out everything. And again, I'm still keeping in mind that I need to create a lift. So I am blending this out in an upward motion and also at an angle. Okay, and let me get maybe this shade again. And I'm just going to apply the color here close to my socket line, because this will just really help to blend everything and to create a very nice soft wash of color. And again, blend in an upward angle. Okay, so now it's time to intensify the lash line, and I'm going to be picking up this dark shade here, and I'm just going to apply that all over, again in a smoky manner, nothing too precise. And now I'm just going to try to create a very nice flick here, and I'm going to blend that into my socket line. Okay, so let me just wet the tips of this brush, and then I'm just landing it here on the deepest shade again, and I am hoping that this will add more intensity. Yes, it did. Fantastic. Okay, so I'm just continuing to build up intensity and to add more drama into this very nice, burgundy kind of a smoky eye. Now, what's surprising though to me is that it's actually not that pigmented. But of course it's pigmented because you can see the color, but it's not really overpowering, and it's actually not a scary color to use. So I'm just applying the color now here on my lower lash line, and I'm just going to continue to build up the intensity as needed. One thing though that I have to say, now I actually appreciate this shade, this grayish tone eyeshadow here, because it actually has this very nice golden flecks in it, which kind of adds drama into your eye look. Now you can't really see it here on the camera, but here on the mirror I can actually see that it's actually giving dimension into the eye look now. So that's actually quite fantastic. Alright, so let's continue to be more playful, and with my finger I'm just going to pick up a bit of this shade here, and I'm going to add it here in the middle of my mobile lid, and that will just add some drama there, and it will just add some openness. And let me just blend that into the edges here quite nicely. So we have this very nice halo effect going on. And of course with this light shade here, it actually has some very light golden sheen to it. I'm gonna apply that again here to the highest points of my brows. Just gonna buff everything and blend everything, because blending is always the key. And we can already see this very nice lifted look coming on. And also with the same shade, I'm going to apply that here in the inner corner of my eyes, because that will just really add some drama there and help to open up everything. And also here in my lower waterline. Okay, and now let me just add some mascara, because I think that will just bring everything together. Look at that. We have this very nice hint of smoky eye going on. I love it. The mascara did really help, I do have to say though, just to add the definition here on my lash line, and just to help really give this very nice lifted look for my eyes. Okay, now I'm just curious though, I actually want to intensify this eye look a little bit, and I think if I use a little bit of this darkest shade here, and I'm using this mini booster from Sonia G, and I'm gonna apply that here into my socket line. Maybe this will just give nice dimension into this eye look. Yes, I can see it now. The red tones of this eyeshadow color is now adding dimension into this eye look, and it's just popping out some more, because the red tones are really going very well and complementing the olive tones of my skin, and now you can actually see the color coming out. Ooh, love that. Okay, so let me just blend out the edges a little bit and then buff that out. Okay, so I actually want to add some eyeliner, so let me go get them and let me come right back. Okay, so I have now this burnt umber eyeliner from Eldridge. This is her Seamless Glide Eye Pencil. And let me just add a little bit of that here into my upper lash line. And let me just blend that out. That added the dimension that I wanted. So let's continue to play, and I actually want to add some intensity there. So let me pick up this, dark tone of this palette, and let me apply that on top of that eyeliner from Eldridge, and that will just set the eyeliner and of course create a much more cohesive color story on our eye today. Okay, good. So eyeliners can really help to bring everything together. And now on this eye, I'm going to add a little bit of the black treacle seamless eye pencil from Eldridge. I'm just applying it as thinly as possible to my lashes here, or to my lash line. Okay, so now let me just buff that out and blend everything. So let me pick up more of the darkest shade of this palette again, still with the same brush that I used to buff out the eyeliner, and let me just continue to buff the color out and also to blend the color well into the eyeliner. So at least we don't have this very black eyeliner there, and this will just give this eyeliner this very nice warmth to it, which again will tie in very well with the eyeshadow look that I created. Beautiful, look at that. I love it. Okay, so the key factor that we need to remember when we're using this palette is that the eyeshadows are actually not very dark and very intense, but they're actually very wearable, and if you want to add more intensity, an eyeliner can help you achieve that look. Okay, so at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a hint of foundation and some concealer and maybe some powder, just so that we can see how well these eyeshadow colors are actually popping up when everything is even in the under eye area. Okay, so I have some foundation down, some powder, concealer, and also have some blush, which have kind of melted a little bit into my skin. So let me just pick up a little bit of that. So this is from OTG Easy Beauty, and this is a Filipino brand here. And this is in the color Rose, and this will just add a very nice hint of warmth and color into my skin. Look at that very pretty color. And I also used a orangey blush early on, so I have this very nice peachy toned kind of a colored blush on my cheeks today, so that will work very well as well with our eyeshadow story that we use, may it be for this soft defined look or this very nice smoky eye look. And what else I need to do? Maybe some highlighter just for some additional drama. So let me add a little bit of this highlighter from Eldridge on the highest point of my cheeks, and with the same brush that I used for my blush, I'm going to blend that highlighter into the blush to make it more juicy. And I'm also going to do that here on the other side as well. And here. Okay, so I believe we've almost come to the end of our vlog today for our try on for the Lekat Tisse Rivoli, and let me just add some finishing touches, like especially on this smoky eye. So let me pick up this dark shade again and add a little bit more of that color here into the outer portions of my lower lash line, just so that we have a much more intense color application there. I'm just adding again minor details, like adding more color in this outer portion of the eye. Like I'm just covering the crease that I have there, which kind of like deforms my eyeshadow look sometimes. So again, blending is the key. But so far, I'm actually quite happy on how my eyeshadow looks have turned out today. Although I do have to say though, admittedly, that when I started creating this eye look and playing around with this color palette, I was a little bit worried that it wasn't working for me. But as I continued to build slowly and when I mixed all the colors together, they kind of worked. And I'm actually especially surprised right now with this shade here, because this is the one that actually has gray tones in it. When I actually mix this with the other colors on this palette, it actually kind of works and it just adds intensity and more depth into the eye colors, and I really love that. I really love that. Alright, so I believe that we have come to the end of my vlog for today. So I hope that you guys enjoyed me showing you how I actually got to know the Tisse Rivoli Lekat from Chanel. So if you have any more questions about my experience using this or any other makeup products that I used today, please let me know down in the comments box and let's have a conversation about it. Alright, so I'm gonna let you guys go now. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope that you're having a good day wherever you are. Bye! And PS, by the way, I forgot to apply a lip color, so let me just get my blush stick here, and I just apply a little bit of this here all over my lip, as a stain, and let me just blend it out with my fingers, and we have this very nice stain going on. It's nude enough to actually work well with my smoky eye today, or even my softly defined eye. Alright, so that's it. See you guys in my next video. Bye!